how do I increase that span of time that I remain fixed on myself?
That's a very good question, and one that certainly needs to be answered now. Bhagavan often said, Bhakti is the mother of jnana. Why did he say that? Bhakti means love. And it is our desire to experience things other than ourselves that makes us rise and go outwards. So we will be willing to turn back within and to subside back into our being only to the extent to which we have all-consuming love just to be as we actually are. How do we acquire that love? This is where we come to, this is why Bhagavan talks about vasanas. Vasanas are inclinations. But Vishaya vasanas are the inclinations to seek happiness in anything other than ourselves. When you're assessing yourself, whether you're aware of it or not, you're seeking happiness in attending to things other than yourself. You're attending to this person, Sarah, and her good and bad qualities. This is all anyanatam. It's all attending to things other than ourselves. That is what Bhagavan refers to in verse 25 of Ulunapta as grasping form. Attending to anything other than our being is grasping form. But the nature of vasanas is, vasanas have no strength of their own. But what are vasanas? There are inclinations. They're the seeds that give rise to the likes, dislikes, desires, attachments, hopes, fears, and so on. So all these desires in their seed form are what are called vasanas. Vasanas gain strength to the extent to which we allow ourselves to be swayed by them. We can see this if we have some obsessive thought or some bad habit or something. The more we indulge in that obsessive thought or that bad habit, the stronger that inclination to dwell on that becomes. So there are two types of vasanas. There are the Vishaya vasanas, which is the inclination to seek happiness in anything other than ourselves. The opposite of Vishaya vasana is Sat vasana, the inclination to seek happiness in our own being. So when we are practicing self-attentiveness, we are thereby strengthening the Sat vasana, because every moment that we're attending to ourselves, we are thereby allowing ourselves to be swayed by the Sat vasana, the inclination to attend to our own being. And we are refraining from being swayed by the Vishaya vasanas. So every moment of self-attentiveness strengthens our Sat vasana and weakens our Vishaya vasanas. So patient and persistent practice is what is necessary. The more we practice, the more we will cultivate that love just to be as we actually are, to attend to nothing other than our being, in other words. So this is why Bhagavan emphasized the need for practice so much. In the 6th paragraph of Nana, when he's talking about the rising of other thoughts, rising of other thoughts doesn't mean just the mental chatter that's going on in our mind. According to Bhagavan, the whole world is nothing but thoughts. So the rising of thoughts means the diversion of our attention away from ourselves towards anything else. And he says, what's it matter however many thoughts rise? As and when each thought rises, if one investigates to whom did this rise, it will be clear to me. If one investigates who am I, the mind will return to its birthplace, and the thought that had risen will subside. What he means there is very, very simple. Thoughts can rise only to the extent to which we attend to them. Because thoughts rise where? They arise in our awareness. So if we don't attend to them, they cannot rise. So whenever any thought rises, that means our attention is being diverted away from ourselves towards that thought. So in order to turn what we need to do is turn our attention away from the thought back towards our being. That's what Bhagavan means by investigating to whom. Because whatever may appear, to whom does it appear? It appears to me. So who is this I? That is, though Bhagavan put it in so many words, what he means by that is, whenever we notice that our attention has been diverted away from ourselves towards anything else, we need to turn our attention back to ourselves, the one to whom all these other things appear. When we turn our attention back to ourselves, that is what he means. Once we turn our attention back, so turning our attention back to ourselves is investigating to whom.
Mm.
And holding on to that self-attentiveness is what he means by investigating who am I. To the extent to which we hold on to that self-attentiveness, we thereby subside and return to our pirapidam. Pirapidam means birthplace. What is our birthplace? Our being. So whenever our mind is diverted away from ourselves, we need to turn it back towards ourselves and thereby subside back into our being. When we attend only to ourselves, not only do we subside back into our being, but whatever had appeared will also subside, because nothing can exist if we don't attend to it. And then he says, Ipati paraka paraka, when one practices and practices in this manner, manatiku tan pirapiditil tanginikam shakti adikadikindradu. For the mind, the power to stand firmly established in its birthplace increases. So what is that power that he's referring to there? That is the power of love. That is the only power that can enable us to remain in our own being. And that power increases to the extent to which we practice this. So the only way to go deeper in our practice is to practice more and more and more. Let's not worry about how deep I've gone, because that's just another. We again thinking, dwelling on thoughts. All we need to be concerned about is to attend to our own being. That's not really, we shouldn't give a second thought to whether we're going deep enough or what. So long as we attend to our own being, we are on the right track. And if we persevere in whenever any thought of any kind whatsoever, including the thought of, am I going deep enough? Am I progressing or whatever? Instead of giving room to such thoughts, to whom are all these thoughts? To me, who am I? Turn our attention back to ourselves and hold on to that self-attentiveness. That is the only way to progress in this path. Because, as Bhagavan said, we cannot achieve this without that bhakti, without the love. And the only way to achieve the love is to persevere in this practice. So it's actually what Bhagavan has taught us is very, very simple. But of course, the practice is simple. Understanding the practice is simple. Putting it into practice seems difficult. It is, Bhagavan said even putting it into practice is actually easy, but it seems difficult because we still have strong Vishaya vasanas. So long as he says in the 11th paragraph, so long as Vishaya vasanas exist in the mind, so long the investigation who am I is necessary.